All right, so today we're diving into something a little different.
Yeah.
It's not a big book this time,
Right.
but a couple of essays by this guy, Lev Nemotin.
Okay.
One is called Basic and Composite Features of Man,
Mm-hmm.
and the other, Choosing Judges and Leaders.
Interesting.
And they're both pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Looks like he's really trying to break down, like, what makes us tick.
Yeah, kind of like a personality decoder ring or something.
Exactly.
So in the first essay, he talks about these things he calls basic features.
Basic features, yeah.
So like the fundamental building blocks of personality.
Yeah, things like,
Aggressiveness,
aggressiveness.
altruism,
Right.
laziness,
Mhm.
like all the raw ingredients.
Exactly, the raw ingredients of who we are.
Okay, that's cool.
And then he takes it a step further.
Oh, really?
He combines those basic features
Okay.
into what he calls composite features.
Composite features.
Yeah. So it's like,
So like more complex traits.
exactly, like charisma, for instance.
Well, charisma.
Yeah, he says it's not just one thing. It's a combination of confidence,
Okay.
openness,
Mhm.
and decisiveness.
So he's kind of like reverse engineering personality.
Exactly, like taking it apart to see how it all works.
That's pretty cool.
And then in the second essay, the one about choosing judges and leaders,
Yeah.
he gets into these 7 qualifiers he says are essential for those roles.
Okay, 7 qualifiers for judges and leaders.
7. Yeah, and get this.
Right.
He says they come from, quote, the world's most published book.
Really?
But he doesn't say what book it is.
That's so frustrating.
I know, right?
Like, come on, give us a hint at least.
Yeah, a little bibliographic clue would be nice.
All right, so what are these mysterious 7 qualifiers?
Okay, so we've got God-fearing,
Oh, yeah.
integrity,
Mm-hmm.
hating money,
Hating money.
righteousness,
Okay.
insightfulness,
Wow.
legal reasoning, and good reputation.
Okay, so hating money. Huh. Is he saying like our ideal leader should be living in a van down by the river?
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, when you read what he actually says,
Yeah.
it's more about being incorruptible.
Incorruptible.
Yeah, like someone who's not swayed by financial gain,
Right, like their decisions aren't influenced by money.
Exactly.
They're driven by something higher.
Yeah, he even connects it to stoicism.
Stoicism.
Yeah, emphasizing resilience and self-discipline.
Interesting.
Like those Stoic philosophers.
Right.
Who were all about resisting temptation and focusing on what's truly important.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, it's about having a strong inner compass that's not easily swayed by external forces.
Okay, so not literally hating money, but
Right.
being above its influence.
Exactly.
I get that, but I also kind of wonder,
What's that?
couldn't you argue that people who already have money
Oh, okay.
might actually be less corruptible?
Less corruptible.
Yeah, like think about it.
Okay.
If you're already financially secure, you're not as tempted by, bribes or shady deals.
That's an interesting point.
Right.
You're not driven by that need for more.
Exactly.
You might be more likely to go into a field like law or leadership because you genuinely want to serve society.
Yeah, like you're not in it for the money.
Right, you're in it for something bigger.
So maybe having wealth could actually make you less susceptible to corruption.
That's a really interesting idea.
Right.
It definitely challenges the assumption that wealth automatically equals corruption.
Yeah.
But it also raises some other questions,
Okay.
Like what about unconscious bias?
Okay.
Even if you're not intentionally trying to benefit yourself,
Right.
your background and experiences could still influence your decisions in ways you might not even be aware of.
That's true.
And then there's the question of how do we guarantee that financial security actually translates to ethical behavior? It's not like there's a one-to-one correlation.
Right.
Just because someone's wealthy doesn't automatically mean they're going to be a good leader or judge.
Yeah. It's definitely a complex issue
It is.
with a lot of different factors to consider,
Absolutely.
but it's definitely thought-provoking.
It is.
So Nemotin is basically saying that these 7 qualities in some combination are what make a good judge or leader.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
And even though we don't know the specifics from this mystery book,
Right.
it's interesting to think about how he connects these qualities back to those basic and composite features.
Yeah, like how do those building blocks fit together to create the ideal judge or leader?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's take God-fearing, for example.
Right. God-fearing.
Yeah.
Now, we're not talking about, fire and brimstone here.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Nemotin interprets it more as like humility.
Humility.
Yeah, self-discipline.
Okay.
And a sense of responsibility toward ethical principles.
So like a strong moral compass,
Exactly.
regardless of your religious beliefs.
Right. It's about having a deep respect for something bigger than yourself.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you see how integrity ties back to those basic features like honesty and responsibility.
It all comes back to those building blocks,
Right.
those fundamental traits that shape who we are.
And those are definitely qualities that build trust.
Absolutely.
Thinking about all this,
Yeah.
I got to admit, I'm feeling a little disillusioned
Disillusion.
with the state of leadership today.
Oh, yeah.
It's like these qualities are in short supply.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
It's easy to get cynical,
It is.
when you look around and see what's happening.
But maybe that's where Neymoten's work becomes so valuable.
How so?
It's not just about defining these ideal qualities.
Right.
It's about giving us a way to critically evaluate the leaders we have.
Yeah, to measure them against a higher standard
Exactly.
instead of just feeling disappointed and helpless.
Yeah, like we can use this framework to analyze what's missing
That's a great point.
and maybe even demand better.
Absolutely hold them accountable.
So instead of just throwing up our hands and saying, well, that's just the way it is, we can say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This isn't good enough.
Right.
We deserve better leadership.
We do.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
Neymoten actually poses this really thought-provoking question in his essay.
Oh, what's that?
He says, would you entrust your future to someone who lacks these qualities?
Wow.
Yeah. It really makes you think.
It does.
Like, are we settling for less than we deserve?
That's a question we all need to ask ourselves.
Absolutely.
So what are the other 5 qualifiers all about? And how can we use this framework to make sense of the leaders we see in our own lives?
Let's dive into that.
It's interesting how Neymoten really focuses on judges and leaders.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying these roles are so crucial.
Right. They hold a lot of power.
Exactly. The decisions they make affect all of us.
They really shape society.
For sure.
But I wonder, do you think we could apply this framework to other roles too?
To other roles.
Yeah, like what about a doctor or an artist? Can we use his ideas to figure out the ideal qualities for those professions as well?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, his approach is pretty versatile.
Okay.
Those basic and composite features he talks about.
Right.
They're like building blocks you can use for any role.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, even for personal relationships.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Think about the qualities you'd want in a doctor, for instance.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Definitely compassion.
Compassion, yeah.
Diligence, intelligence, and maybe a healthy dose of skepticism.
Skepticism.
Yeah, to keep them on top of the latest research.
Right, and to avoid falling into dogma.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how his method could apply to so many different areas.
Yeah, it gives us a new way to think about these qualities.
It does.
Those 7 qualifiers for judges and leaders?
Yeah.
It's still bugging me that he doesn't say what book they come from.
I know, it's like a riddle.
Seriously.
But even without knowing the source.
Yeah. They feel kind of universal, don't they?
They do.
Like essential qualities for anyone in a position of authority.
Yeah, like they transcend cultures and time periods.
Exactly.
Honesty, integrity, wisdom. These have been valued in leaders for centuries.
It's true, the way they're expressed might change,
Right.
but the core principles are the same.
I think that's why this essay is so powerful.
Yeah.
It makes us confront our own expectations.
Mm.
Are we demanding enough from our leaders?
That's a good question.
Are we settling for mediocrity?
It's easy to just go with the flow.
Right.
But Neymoten is challenging us to do more.
Yeah, to really think critically
Exactly.
about who we're allowing to lead us.
And what qualities we're prioritizing.
Reading this,
Yeah.
I'm realizing I've been pretty disappointed with leadership lately.
I understand.
It feels like these qualities are in short supply.
It's a common sentiment.
But maybe that's the point.
What do you mean?
Maybe Neymoten is trying to wake us up.
To show us what we should be looking for.
Instead of just accepting what we're given,
Exactly.
he's giving us a tool
Right.
to evaluate those in power
To hold them accountable.
and to demand better.
So instead of just feeling cynical, we can use this framework to take action,
To make a difference.
to create the kind of leadership we want to see in the world.
It's about becoming active citizens
Engaged and informed.
and willing to speak up.
Okay, so we talked about God-fearing and integrity.
Right.
What about righteousness?
Righteousness.
Yeah, that one sounds pretty intense.
It does have a certain weight to it,
It does.
but Neymoten connects it to ensuring fairness and justice.
Okay, fairness and justice.
especially for the most vulnerable.
So it's about protecting those who need it most.
Exactly.
What about insightfulness?
Insightfulness.
Is he just talking about being smart?
It's more than just book smarts.
Okay.
It's about seeing the bigger picture,
The bigger picture.
understanding the nuances of a situation, and anticipating the consequences of actions.
So like a strategic thinker.
Yeah, someone who can see the long-term implication.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's about making decisions that benefit everyone.
Not just the select few.
Right.
Okay, what about legal reasoning?
Legal reasoning.
That sounds pretty specific to lawyers.
It does, but I think it applies more broadly.
Okay, how so?
It's about the ability to adapt principles to new situations.
To new situations.
Yeah, while still upholding fairness.
So like being flexible but also consistent.
Exactly.
It's about finding that balance.
Right.
Between adapting to change
Mm-hmm.
and staying true to your values.
It's a delicate balance,
It is.
but it's crucial for effective leadership.
Okay, and the last one, good reputation.
Good reputation.
That one seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but it's not something you get overnight.
Right.
A good reputation is earned
Turn.
through consistent ethical behavior,
Okay.
through actions that demonstrate integrity and trustworthiness.
So it's about building trust over time.
Exactly.
To your actions.
And your choices.
You know, listening to all this, I
Yeah.
keep thinking about that homework challenge Moten gives at the end of his essay.
The homework challenge.
Yeah, he's like, okay, you've got the framework now, put it to the test.
He wants us to apply these ideas to our own lives.
Right, to the leaders we see around us.
It's a brilliant challenge.
It is.
It forces us to confront reality.
To see if our leaders actually measure up.
And that can be uncomfortable
It can.
because we might find that some of the people we've admired
Yeah.
don't actually embody these qualities.
Or that the systems we're part of
Right.
don't prioritize these qualities when choosing leaders.
It can be disillusioning,
It can.
but it can also be a catalyst for change.
How so?
Because when we see the flaws,
Yeah.
we're more likely to demand
To push for improvement.
to create a world where these qualities are valued and upheld.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
So to our listener out there,
Yeah.
we're handing you the torch. Take Moten's 7 qualifiers.
Okay.
God-fearing, integrity, hating money, righteousness, insightfulness, legal reasoning, and good reputation.
Yeah.
Apply them to the leaders in your own life.
See how they measure up.
What does that tell you about the systems you're a part of?
What does it reveal about your own values?
And most importantly,
Yeah.
what are you going to do about it?
It's time to take action,
To demand better leadership
to create a world where these qualities matter.
and to shape the future we want to see.
Remember Moten's question.
What's that?
Would you entrust your future to someone who lacks these qualities?
That's a question worth pondering,
It is.
and one that can spark real change.
We'll leave you with that as we wrap up part 2 of this deep dive.
You know, as we've been talking about all this,
Yeah.
I've noticed a certain passion in your voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this topic really gets you fired up.
It does.
What is it about Moten's ideas that resonates so strongly with you?
I think it's his emphasis on character. Yeah, like true leadership isn't just about charisma or popularity.
Right. It's about something deeper.
Exactly.
It's about integrity and a strong moral compass, making decisions that benefit everyone.
Not just yourself.
Exactly.
And those qualities seem to be in short supply these days.
You're right. It's not just in politics either.
No, it's everywhere.
In business,
Mm-hmm.
media.
Even in our personal lives.
Yeah, it's like we've lost sight of what truly matters.
It's like trust is eroding all around us.
And that's why I think Moten's essays are so important.
I agree.
They're a reminder that we can't just sit back and accept this.
Right. We have to demand more from our leaders.
Hold them to a higher standard.
And it starts with us.
With us.
Yeah, we need to be more discerning.
More critical.
About who we choose to follow and support.
Use those 7 qualifiers as a lens.
Exactly.
To evaluate the people we put our trust in.
We need to become more conscious consumers of leadership.
Consumers of leadership.
Yeah, like we do with products.
Okay.
We research them, compare them, make informed decisions.
So we should do the same with our leaders.
Absolutely.
Ask ourselves, do they embody the qualities that truly matter?
Do their actions align with our values?
And if not, are we willing to speak up?
Challenge the status quo.
Demand better.
It's not about complaining.
Right.
It's about taking responsibility.
Recognizing that we have a choice.
In shaping the kind of leadership we want to see in the world.
So to our listener out there, we challenge you.
Challenge you.
Take Namoten's 7 qualifiers.
What?
God-fearing,
Integrity,
hating money,
righteousness,
insightfulness,
legal reasoning.
good reputation.
Yeah.
Apply them to the leaders in your own life,
Your community,
your workplace.
your family.
They measure up.
What does that tell you about the systems you're a part of?
And, most importantly,
What are you going to do about it?
how are you going to create the change you want to see?
Remember Namoten's question?
Would you entrust your future to someone who lacks these qualities?
That's a powerful question.
It is.
One that can spark real change.
So keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep those brain gears turning.
Until next time.